Update day! Update day! Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Looks like we finally got a Forsaken patch. This patch was called the patch before Noli. Actually, I swear. Yeah man, I believe you. I don't want to believe Noli is still not going to come out. A lot of things were rebalanced and changed in this update, actually, with a few changes being extremely controversial. There's also a bit of a problem Noli might potentially have, which I'd like to discuss in this video. So, let's get started. Don't forget to join my channel's membership down below if you'd like to support the channel. If you can't, liking and subscribing works just fine too. So, let's check out patch 2.3.3. First off, on Friday the 13th, Jason had his special buffs. They're removed by now, but honestly, playing that day was miserable. Just look at the background gameplay right now. The Forsaken devs have finally brought back Bright Eye Shadletsky. There used to be a bug with it where she was straight up naked. Like, I'm not even sure how that happened. Glad she's covered up now though. Here are all the updated renders they did this update. The reason these renders were updated, a lot of them were made by Soul Driven Love, which I talked about in a video a while back. In short, they're a terrible person and don't own the game anymore for a good reason. They also updated the skins for KD Noob, Dragon Guest, Milestone 4 007, Fixer Upper Builderman, and more. They finally fixed Whimsical Cool Kid. Thank you Forsaken Dev Team for covering the biggest issues in the game. Here's the new sound effects for Voidbound 1X. The Chrono Shift emote has now been changed to have visuals. Forsaken's now added White Pumpkin from Minecraft Story Mode as a skin. This is genuinely one of the best skins they've ever made. They just need to give her better sound design and give her a custom theme. Forsaken have also added Pride Chance and 2-timer skins. Watch people lose their mind over these. The YouTube short kids are not gonna like this. These guys were already confirmed as non-binary by the devs. Now, time to go over the balance changes. Let's go over them one by one and see how they affect the game. Survivors who rage quit, leave within 15 seconds of being attacked, now add time to the round and give the killer money. It also comes with a new achievement in relation to this. Too good. Honestly, this should have been implemented since day one. People who rage quit like this should honestly get some sort of penalty outside the match for leaving like this too. Not sure how, because people can disconnect, but I'm sure something can be done about this. They also fixed an issue where survivors were incorrectly labeled as 24 speed when they were actually 26 speed. This doesn't really affect the game in any way, but it's nice to see them upgrade the accuracy of the stats menu. Usually there's some stuff that just doesn't add up. A thing I'd like to suggest is that chances, gun stacks should also be mentioned in the stats menu, such as the different odds of stuff happening. I had no idea how much 2 charges were worth for Chance's gun until I looked up the fandom wiki. And you know, the wiki is not always the highest source of factual information. Builderman now gains money and XP from the damage the sentry does and health the dispenser heals. This is a great tweak, as Builderman has been compared to pre-rework 2-time with extremely punishing XP game. This is an overwhelmingly positive change as it encourages more people to play Builderman, which will encourage better teamwork and survivability between players. Guest 1337's block now gains speed 1 for 2 seconds on a successful block. The killer still has the slowness from the last patch, meaning that guests will be able to run away or parry even better. His hitbox also gets more fatter when blocking. Honestly, I didn't notice much of a difference with this, so I think this should be tweaked a little more. Adjacent's behead lunge can still completely whiff on a guest while they block, getting them killed anyways. Charge's cooldown was decreased from 45 seconds to 40 seconds. It's a great change. It makes guest a more viable sentinel compared to the others. Holy shit. They finally nerfed Noob's last man standing capability. Their Bloxy Cola no longer has finite uses, which is good overall for surviving in a normal match, and instead it has a 50-second cooldown. This makes them much less oppressive in last man standing, so they can't just spam colas to shave off extreme amounts of time. They also now gain money and XP for how much distance they run while under its speed effect. There's also an achievement for it too, called You're Quick as Hell. They've also updated the Slate Skin Potion to no longer have finite charges too, and now it just has a 55-second cooldown. You can now cancel out of it and break out of it early and get speed 1. You'll still get speed 2 if you fully go through it though. Ghostburger finally got gutted, with Undetectable no longer working during last man standing. This goes for 007 too. You can't bum out and hide anymore. I'll say 007 is still the better last man standing pick regardless, since he can clone with a relatively shorter cooldown and teleport across the map. However, Noob's invisibility level was increased from 3 to 4 to compensate for Undetectable no longer working during last man standing. They also made the invisibility duration longer, so you can hide better. Another achievement was added for hiding as Noob by cancelling out aura reading moves or to hide from a minion. Deodorant, something Forsaken players do not use. And now for the most controversial balance change, which I think is completely unnecessary. Elliot's Rush Hour. Its cooldown got increased from 30 seconds to 40 seconds, and it grants slowness 1 for 3 seconds after the speed effect is finished. This change was completely unnecessary. Now it's almost impossible for an Elliot to escape a chase against a competent killer. Whoever says Elliot is a nightmare to play against in competitive plays, you're not counterplaying him right. Elliot can't stun. He has 80 HP. His only move that allowed him to get away, Rush Hour, is completely unusable now and grants slowness. Which means if there's no teammates helping, surviving normally is almost impossible now. Last man standing is essentially unwinnable against a competent killer. Pizza's nerf is already a bad enough choice, as a 35 health heal with a 30 second cooldown is already barely anything. A sound effect now plays when Rush Hour is activated, which on its own is a fair enough change, so killers can know when Elliot does his Rush Hour. Elliot's money also got increased per heal from 6 to 8, making him the best one for money again. 2 times dagger stun duration got decreased from 4 seconds to 3.5 seconds. I suggested this change in my video, so I'm glad to see it being implemented, even though it wasn't directly because of me. Helpless and slowness on 2 times front stab got decreased from 1.5 seconds to 1 second. This is to make front stabs less rewarding and less frustrating to play against. 2 times crouch stab now has way more end lag. The bio for 2 time now includes ability cooldowns. They also fixed the issue where its crouch duration was half to 5 seconds. Taft's health got a health increase from 90 to 100. Cool Kid's walk speed override now has a windup of 0.55 seconds. Its impact damage now is 30 rather than 25. Its speed got increased from 60 to 90, and its dash duration is a lot lower. Its knockback got heavily increased though, but it also slows down the victim for 0.25 seconds to compensate for the knockback. Now the idea they have with it is that you're meant to hit people into walls to dead ends and corner them. I used to use it as a better M1, so this is going to take me a while to get used to as a Cool Kid main. I don't like this change personally, but I think it's just better for the game's balance, so I'll have to get used to it. John Doe's Unstoppable got completely gutted. Now it only applies when Corrupt Energy and 404's error windup is cancelled. Because of this change, John Doe is now properly affected by stun duration stacking nerfs, so he won't get completely comboed by 200 stunners. Unstoppable speed duration now increases by 1 second for every additional stun capable character that's in the lobby. There's also a bit of controversy surrounding Noli. Recently, a lot more Noli content has been shown off and leaked during the testing phase, and a lot of people have compared it to just another Cool Kid. They say his Void Rush move looks too much like Walk Speed Override, and his Mind Speed throw is just like another Corrupt Nature. Does this have any merit? Yes, I think the Mind Throw might have a bit of merit, but apparently it ragdolls the player. Also, Noli's Void Rush apparently needs 2 hits to be effective. The way Void Rush functions, according to the wiki, Noli charges his Shadow Tendril forward, attempts to hit a survivor for 8 damage. You can reuse this ability a second time. If the second dash connects, Noli slams the survivor into the ground for 40 damage. If the hit fails, Noli gets stunned. This honestly makes it pretty different to Walk Speed Override. If you miss Walk Speed Override, it's pretty punishing, but it does not completely keep you in place and stun you, especially with this updated version. Noli's hit also requires 2 shots to properly get a hit in, but again, it's subject to change. Noli's Void Star ability, however, seems almost identical to Corrupt Nature on paper. Apparently, Noli throws a Void Star that, on collision, it explodes, dealing 15 damage and ragdolling the player. However, Noli's Observant ability is what seems to make him the most unique. He teleports to a generator and uses his Void Star to give all survivors in a 25 stud radius a hallucination. In one hallucination, the in-game timer above the player starts to tweak out, flashing between random times. Another one is that a cola appears on the floor. The player can pick it up, however, it has no use and can't be used and drops. A hallucination as well is take damage. A survivor takes a bit of damage but recovers in an instant. There's no actual damage being done. When the damage is recovered, a laugh sound effect is played. It's also theorized that the survivor can get fake gears, but there's no footage of this yet. It can also make generators seem completed when they aren't. Overall, while Noli isn't a complete Cool Kid ripoff, there is some merit to these concerns. Whether he's exactly the same will be seen when he releases. I have high hopes for him to be the best of quality. The Forsaken dev team seems to have worked really hard on this guy, so it'd suck if he ends up bad. That being said, I'd like to urge the Forsaken devs to immediately revert the Elliot nerfs if possible. I don't think Elliot being nerfed this hard makes sense, as Elliot is a support character, and nerfing support characters discourages people from playing them more. This encourages teammates to be more selfish, as if they can't get a heal, they'll just grab a medkit for themselves. I've already run across many players post-nerf hugging medkits for themselves and hiding all game instead of helping the team. I think if Elliot is reversed, this would fix the problems with team composition not being up to scratch, because Guest's buff will allow him to be a better team player. Overall, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I might do more news-like content where I cover things that I think are interesting about the updates and give my thoughts on it, but that's up to what you guys want. just let me know in the comments. If you've gotten this far, why not subscribe? Join the channel membership if you want. And that's everything for this video. See you next time.